So today we are going to do chapter 1, lesson 3, and I'm actually breaking this into two parts. We're going to deal with some more straightforward problems today to get you back into the swing of dimensional analysis. And then tomorrow we will layer on the new challenge that you're going to have with these where you can change multiple things at once. So officially this is called converting rate part 1. Tomorrow will be part 2. And we're going to use something called dimensional. I can't talk and write at the same time. Dimensional analysis. This is not a new topic for you. This is something I know we study in 6th grade because I've taught it to some of you. We do talk a little bit about it in 7th grade before we get to this chapter. A lot of times it seems like more work than it's worth. This is the section that it's worth the work. Okay, because we're going to be switching between things like miles to hour to feet per second. All right, so it lets you do it all in one swoop. Now, some things I need to draw to your attention. On page 26 in your textbook, plus like 3 other spots in Google Classroom, I have posted a list of conversions. That will be very helpful if you don't know some of these. Okay, so you might want to refer to page 26 or check out one of the things that I posted with this assignment. Each time we change measurements, each one is going to get its own set of parentheses. I teach it with parentheses, not all teachers do, but I think once we get into this and you see what I'm showing you, it will make a lot of sense. Just remember, each change gets its own parentheses. This works because we're really multiplying by 1. It's not going to look like 1. We're going to be using the concept of unit ratios, which is like multiplying by 1. Two relationships that are the same as 1. And then this whole thing works on the premise of multiplying fractions and being able to cross cancel. So we're going to draw on your knowledge from the past couple of years, learning how to multiply fractions and cross cancel. So I have 3 examples for you today in part 1, and then we'll do a few more tomorrow in part 2. Let's get started. So example 1, if I have the measurement of 10 feet per second, and I want to switch it to inches per second. Let's give the example that this is a remote controlled car. And somehow, the directions tell you, oh, it can reach speeds of 10 feet per second. Well, I don't have feet in my house. I have like inches between here and there. What's the speed that it's getting up to? Most people don't think about things like that. Math teachers do. Anyway, so we're going to start with the original, 10 feet in 1 second. I'm adding the 1 in there because I think it's going to make it more obvious as a fraction. Let's see how many changes we're making. We're switching from feet to inches. That's 1 change. Our seconds will stay seconds. So since I'm making 1 change, we're going to make 1 giant set of parentheses. Now, in order to cancel things out in a fraction, you need to have it on the top and you need to have it on the bottom. I'm hoping to get rid of feet, right? I'm hoping to switch it to inches. So right now, since feet is on the top, I'm going to put feet on the bottom. That will let me cancel it out in a moment when I'm ready. In its place, I'm switching to inches, so I'll put that on top. This is where you're going to look in your textbook on page 26 or on one of the things that I posted, or you're going to look it up on the internet. We're looking for inches to feet. Okay, 12 inches is 1 foot. 12 inches, 1 foot. 12 inches, 1 foot. Where I see the inches, I'll put the 12. And then where I see the foot, I'll put the 1. 12 inches, 1 foot. This was the unit ratio, right? 12 inches is like a nickname for 1 foot. And 1 foot is like a nickname for 12 inches. These are the same thing, just labeled a little differently. Now I can go cross things off. Remember, something on the top and something on the bottom. We're left with inches and seconds, which is good because that's what I was hoping for. All right. Now we're going to tackle the number part of the fraction. 10 times 12 is 120, and 1 times 1 is 1. So we have converted 10 feet per second into 120 inches per second, which makes sense because inches are smaller. You'd expect more of them in the same amount of time. Okay, let's go to example 2. And somehow I've managed to lose my numbers. There they go. have my examples all written out, and I lost my sticky note. Found it. We're good. 7 feet per second. And we want to switch that to feet per minute. The thing that's changing is in a different position. Up here, we were changing the distance measurement, but keeping the time the same. Now we're keeping the distance measurement the same, but we're changing the time. So it's the same philosophy, but things might end up in a slightly different place. All right, let's go. 7 feet in 1 second. This will stay the same. This will change. That's one change, which means one set of parentheses. I started with seconds, and that's what I'm hoping to get rid of. It's currently on the bottom, so in order to cross it off, it needs to go on the top. It will be replaced by minutes, so I'll put that on the bottom. So here's my cross-offs, the thing I'm hoping to get rid of. And here are the equivalents that I'm switching between. All right, we know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. I didn't need to look that one up. So I'll fill in the 1 with the minute and the 60 with the seconds. I'm going to cross off my duplicates. So I'm left with feet and I'm left with minute, which is good because that's what I'm trying for. And then I'll tackle the numbers. 7 times 60, 7 times 6 is 42, add 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 7 feet per second is the same as 420 feet per minute. So the setup was the same, but in this case, we did top and bottom. And in our second case, we did bottom and top. You just kind of have to let the problem set itself up for you. All right, one more example. We're going to go 20 meters per second. And we're going to switch that to meters per hour. Now, this could be done in one step if you know that 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. And I'll show you that. But that often doesn't show up on your chart. Usually, it switches from seconds to minutes and then from minutes to hours. That's technically 2 changes. So you could do it with 2 sets of parentheses. And that'll get us ready for tomorrow. So I'm going to do this problem twice. One knowing this piece and one where we don't know that piece. Okay, so 20 meters in 1 second. Meters is staying the same. The time is what's changing. That's one switch. I start with seconds. It's on the bottom. I want to get rid of it, so I'll put it in the opposite spot. Its partner is hours. Now, because it's written over here, because you just know it, 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. I can cross off my seconds. I'm left with meters and hours, which is good. That's what I want. 20 times 3,600. Well, let's see. 2 times 36 is 72. There were 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 72,000. And then 1 times 1 is 1. So 20 meters per second is 72,000 meters per hour. That's if you know the hour-second relationship. Often you don't. So let's try it the other way. We're going to do 20 meters per second. Now, I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses. In the first one, I'm going from seconds to minutes, right? Seconds and seconds will cancel out, and then I have minutes. But I don't want minutes. My ultimate goal is hours. So let's do this again, where I switch from minutes to hours. 1 minute is 60 seconds, and 1 hour is 60 minutes. Now, when you look at this, if you're good with your times tables, you know that 60 times 60 is 3,600. These 2 problems are exactly the same. I've just broken this down a little bit more. 1 step here, 2 steps here. This is more fun to cross things off, though. We've got seconds and seconds, top and bottom, and we've got minutes and minutes, top and bottom. So the only labels left are meters and hours, which is good because that's what I need. 2 times 6 times 6, well, that's 36 times 2. And 1, 2, 3 zeros. And then 1 times 1 times 1. Hey, would you look at that? It's the same answer. Now, you probably got the first two, no big deal. You've seen this before. If you didn't use the parentheses, you were at least using the multiplication sign. The steps are very similar no matter what. This one, you've got a choice. And while you may not be able to do this by yourself yet, I hope that you could at least follow along and understand the logic that I was using. Tomorrow, for part 2, we will start to require 2 parentheses because we'll actually be making 2 changes to our rates.